أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. All praises due to Allah. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Inshallah, this is a follow-up session, or you can call it a summary session, or a conclusion session, or we are going to see, inshallah, from now on what we're going to do. So this is very important. As any project in our life, and including our life, we have to have a goal. We have to have a goal. And this goal have to have objectives. And then for the objectives means small goals, or you can call it milestones or stations. So you want to drive to Galveston or drive to Dallas, using cities around us. That's your goal. Your goal is to arrive there and do something. So let's say that you are going there to attend a conference. So your goal is to attend the conference. So going to Dallas is an objective, because this is, if you don't go to Dallas, you're not going to attend the conference in Dallas unless it's online. All right? So that's an objective. Also, how you're going to go to Dallas, those are objectives as well. So I need to make sure that I have the right to go to Dallas and all of this. Then you have to have a plan to achieve those objectives, hence you achieve the goal. And for that plan, you have to have a strategy to execute. You have to have a strategy to execute, plan of action. So you have a plan. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 to achieve this first objective. Then 1, 2, 3 to get to the second objective. And then 1, 2, 3 to get to the fifth objective. So why, Sheikh, you skipped number 3 and 4? Because they may be skipped. Maybe you don't need one of the steps. And that's your strategy. That's your strategy. Is like, what if one of the objectives don't work? What if this happens? What if that happens? You have to have a strategy. And that's called strategic planning. That's called strategic planning. And I advise each and every one of you, my sisters, to study that. If you search goals and objectives, you will find plethora of information about how to design a goal, how to create a goal, who needs to have a goal, why do you need a goal, how to get to a goal. It's very important. You study those things and take notes. Very important. You will think completely different after that. Goals and objectives. Then search strategic planning. You will find steps and how you do strategic planning. And how to create a plan. What is a strategy? Then what is strategic planning? And how to execute a plan. These things, you don't have to be an executive to know them. Actually, I advise workers, employees, to study management. How? So you can, why? So you know why your manager is telling you what they're telling you. That's why you're studying da'wah. Even if you're not doing da'wah, you know the basics of da'wah. So you can be doing passive da'wah, as I said. Not passive means bad da'wah. No, you can do da'wah passively, without effort, without talking. You can be doing da'wah. Working yourself, you'll be doing da'wah. That's step number 1. Prophet ﷺ said that in a hadith, one of the Sahaba telling the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Dharr al-Ghifari, telling Rasulullah, what is the best thing to do to get rewarded? So he say, to help someone to do something, or do it for someone who cannot do. How can I get rewarded, O Prophet of Allah? He said, find someone who cannot do something and you can, so do that for them. Or find someone who can do something but they need help, so help them achieve it. That's achieving a goal. To help someone set a goal, or help someone to execute a goal, or help someone to do something that they cannot do by themselves. See, that's what terminology is different, right? So I'm taking the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and we relate to it. Everything, by the way, is as clear as the sun in Quraan and Sunnah, but our minds are sometimes blurred by by this culture and everything is there. No, everything is in the Quran. Allah said that. Everything is in the Sunnah of the Prophet 1400 years ago. There is nothing new, which is good, that Islam did not invite you. And there is nothing new, which is evil, that Islam did not warn us about. I challenge anybody. The applications might be different. The items might look different. But the concept, the concept and the basis and the criteria and the foundation and the steps are all there. So the Prophet ﷺ said, you want Allah to be pleased with you? Help someone who cannot achieve things on their own. What is that? Help somebody set goals. Help somebody execute a plan. Help someone who cannot find a job to find a job. Help someone who have a job to achieve. You become an employer of employee who cannot achieve things, or you employ someone who cannot work. So basically, that's exactly what the Prophet is saying. Then Abu Dharr said, what if I can't do that, or there is no opportunity for me to do that? He said, then you enjoy good and forbid bad. What does that mean? After the physical work or mental work, you're helping someone, with technology or anything like that, you don't, then give advice. Isn't that enjoying good and forbidding bad? Some people think that enjoying good and forbidding bad means only like the religious or the rituals, because everything is religious rituals. Like Amr Ma'ruf Nahy al Munkar, enjoying good and forbidding bad, meaning tell somebody how to pray and not to pray and not to commit adultery and not to drink and do this and do that. That's Amr Ma'ruf and Nahy al Munkar. No. You enjoy good and forbid bad. You find someone about to lose a fortune in investing in something, give them advice, don't invest in that. I have a background in this, and I'm telling you, don't do that. Don't put all your money in one basket. Do this and do that. Diversify your portfolio. That's enjoying good. And forbidding bad, you find somebody, by their action, they are going to deceive someone or cheat someone. Not necessarily they want to do it, but sometimes it's going to result in bad. Some people, they want to do some haram transaction, but they're not aware it's haram. So you tell them not to do it. And that's an art terminology. So basically, that's what da'wah is, right? So far, this is active da'wah, right? So the Prophet given the first step, literally, physically, mentally, you are engaged in planning for someone or helping someone execute their plan. Under those two, thousands of opportunities. Thousands, literally speaking, thousands of opportunities. Because I'm a consultant, I'm going to help someone. Forget about money or not money, you get paid or not get paid, but you help someone create a plan or help someone to execute a plan. Help someone have objectives or help them execute the objectives. Help someone to learn strategy or plan for them strategically, and so on and so forth. So that you're actually involved in this da'wah. So what is next? You enjoy good and forbid bad. Means at least give advice. What if you cannot do any of that? And that was the question the companion asked the Prophet ﷺ. He said, you protect people from your own harm. Wow. Means if you are not able to do any good, don't do any bad. Is this da'wah? The Prophet said, yes. This is actually sadaqah from you on yourself. You're getting rewarded for giving sadaqah that you did not actually give. Stopping yourself from doing harm when you cannot participate with good, that actually in itself is a sadaqah that you did not give. But Allah will reward you for sadaqah that you receive. You give and receive at the same time. Now give me any theory that came from one of the Ivy League, similar to this one. Impossible. Impossible. This has to be a revelation from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Stage number one, involve in helping others. Stage A, 1A, is to actually plan for somebody and help them to succeed. Then you help them achieve their already the plan that they already have. Help them to achieve that. That's 1A and 1B. Then 2, give them advice. Then 3, don't do bad if you cannot do good. If you cannot involve or advise then just don't. That actually in itself, you are helping yourself. Helping others because they are not getting any good from you and they are not getting any bad either. And you did not give any good and they did not do any bad either. So Allah rewards you just for that. Amazing, right? So take this hadith and apply it for da'wah. All the lectures that we give, if you say, oh, that's too much, I cannot do it, that's good. You still want to be rewarded? Don't do anything. Just work on yourself. As simple as that. Don't open your mouth in giving da'wah to anybody about Islam. Wallahi, I'm telling you, this is the safest one. You will be giving da'wah without actually giving da'wah. You will be just work on yourself. You see the list in the matters of belief, how I'm going to be saved, 1, 2, 3. In the matters of worship, how should I pray? How should I how should I do this and that? In the business transactions, how should I be a good Muslim? In dealing with others, how should I be a good person? You will find that you are working in yourself and passively people are seeing you like a walking billboard. I want you after this lecture to have a completely different mind frame about da'wah. You don't have to go give a lecture in a church or a synagogue or a masjid or say a word. You don't have to. It's good to do that, but you don't have to. You don't have to be Sheikh Mamdouh yani in flesh, or I want to be like Ahmed Didat or Dr. Zakir Naik or anybody like that. No. It's great to have that goal, but you don't have to be. It's great to have that goal and work towards it, but you're not going to be like that. You're going to be your own da'i who fears Allah and who wants it for the sake of Allah. Start from the scratch. What is the scratch? Working on myself. Working on myself. All my life I'll be working on myself fi sabilillah, for the sake of Allah. That is the passive da'wah I'm talking about. And you will see that you yourself start talking, giving advice to others, what to do and what not to do. Then you will engage in helping someone. You will come and say, oh, Sheikh Mamdouh, I'm ready to help you. Do you want me to represent you in any da'wah, this and that? I said, oh, I'm not qualified yet, or study this, or this is, you can attend, or da 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 da. So you are helping someone to achieve. And then you can say that I will do myself now. I'll plan for others. Let me have a team now of da'wah and train them so they can work on da'wah. I hope it is clear. Sister Maryam summarized for us. So let me go through the summary to freshen your mind, and then I want your question Q&A, inshallah. In the beginning, we talked about interfaith or intrafaith. Interfaith is between different faiths, yani Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and other things, faith or no faith. That's called interfaith, between different faiths. Intra means internal. So always say inter means external, and intra means internal. So within Islam, all those who say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, but they have differences under that. Anybody differs in La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, it is interfaith. Anybody do not differ in La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, but differ in its meaning and everything under it, it's called intrafaith. I'm not gonna judge anybody now and say who's a kafir, who's a Muslim, this and that, but anybody who claims that they believe in La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, then it's gonna be interfaith until they prove that they don't believe in that faith. Then they become interfaith. Yani we have interfaith. You have to obtain knowledge and you have to have experience. What if you do not have the knowledge and have the experience? Meaning you've been listening to that and all that, but that's not necessarily knowledge. And you have the knowledge, but you don't have the experience. Then you need that. So what is the fastest solution? Now I'm asking you that question. What is the fastest solution for that? If you don't have the knowledge and experience, or knowledge only or experience only, what is the shortest cut to compensate for this issue? You want to do da'wah now and you don't have either one, or you have one but you don't have the other. What is the shortest, fastest step to cover that until you gain the knowledge or experience or both? Who can tell me?
Get trained.
What is that?
Somebody to train you.
Great. That's exactly what you need. Who can give me a proof from Quran?
Mamdouh.
Meaning, the meaning of the ayah. When you do not
like,
know.
When you
whom
do you
you
mean
should
like
ask.
reading the tafsir?
No, but proof from Quran. There is an ayah saying exactly that. If you don't know, you need to ask those who
Okay.
those who have knowledge, right?
Definitely.
Allah Azza wa Jalla said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And ask the people of knowledge when you do not know. So that's the foundation of da'wah. If you do not ask, you are not going to know. Because when you go give da'wah, means you're going to be asked questions, right? People are going to ask you questions. Correct? How are you going to answer them if you yourself do not ask to gain the knowledge? Because why they are asking you? Why people are asking you? Because they want to know. Forget about their intention. Normally, when a person asks a question, not as a challenge or anything, normally, what a question is for? What is the question for? To gain knowledge, right? To gain knowledge or remove a doubt. Like someone does not know, and the answer of the question will make them know. Or someone have confusion, and the answer for the question is going to remove the confusion. Or someone have a doubt, and the answer of the question will remove the doubt. Correct? That's what a question is for. Yes?
Yeah.
It's either to gain knowledge that you don't have, or to correct a concept that you have, or add to knowledge that you have. So always the question will benefit you somehow. Asking a question, the answer will benefit you somehow. If somebody is trying to do that, where did the knowledge come to me? I'm not a prophet to receive the answer, to receive knowledge. So how am I going to gain the knowledge? If this guy or this sister is, or this person is gaining knowledge through asking me, where did I gain my knowledge from? I hope you understand what I'm trying to do here. Yes? When you go for da'wah, you are saying, I am ready to receive your questions. All people who do not know anything about Islam, come ask me. Isn't that what is the basics of da'wah? So when you go there, you are opening yourself for Q&A. Q over there, A over here. They ask you a question and you have answers. If you are not qualified for that, why are you giving da'wah in the first place? Da'wah is not reading from a book. Big mistake. Da'wah is not reading from a book. What if the book you're reading from is wrong? What if you misunderstood it? How would you know? How would you know that the tafsir you read, you understood it right? Because somebody said, oh, I read that in the tafsir. But that's not what he means. I said, no, Sheikh, that's what he means. I said, what do you mean? Oh, you read Ibn Kathir, huh? You read tafsir Ibn Kathir. Let's stay, huh? You read tafsir Ibn Kathir. My first question to you, did you read it in Arabic or English? You'll say, oh, I read it in English. I tell you, maybe there is a problem in the translation. Hypothetically speaking, there is a possibility or not. Now, let's say you know Arabic and you said, I read it in Arabic. I tell you, where did Ibn Kathir he get his knowledge from? Ibn Kathir in 600 of Hijrah. Means 600 years after the Prophet ﷺ, he wrote his tafsir. That means his tafsir is based on other tafsirs over 6 centuries. Do you know that piece of knowledge? That piece of information? So when I read tafsir Ibn Kathir, I know where every single word Ibn Kathir put, where did he bring it from? You get it? So when I'm reading Ibn Kathir, actually, it is, for me, it's a summary of about 60 or 70 other tafsirs before him. That's how would I read it. So I know why he's saying what he's saying in that spot. I know exactly why he put it there. You don't. So you read this and you go give da'wah with it, for sure you're going to make mistakes. 100%. Guarantee. And that is where we call this mentorship, sisters mentorship class. That's why I'm telling you, opening a book and finding the meaning of a hadith or a meaning of an ayah is not the end of it. No, it is the beginning. Now, if you take what I'm saying now and apply it to your own branch of knowledge. Sister Rahilia here is in psychology, behavioral psychologist. If a young kid now graduated from with a major in psychology and he wrote a book about behavioral psychology, does Sister Rahilia take his word for granted? You answer me in that one, Sister Rahilia. Is Sister Rahilia there? Maybe she's not there. So any one of you, after you studied tafsir with me, would a young graduate of Al-Azhar or Medina or anything like that wrote the tafsir of Surah Al-Baqarah or Al-Imran that you studied with me over years, and he wrote something that you, first time you hear it, do you take their word for granted? No, you're not. It's not because I taught you different. No, because you heard other things, right? So means this person does not have, either does not have enough knowledge, or does not have enough experience, or does not have either, or maybe he has something new. But you learned the standards already, so you're going to go search. You see? So before you go give da'wah, you have to have that basis, or you have to be under the mentorship of someone who knows. That's why I tell people, always have someone with experience and knowledge in da'wah directing you giving da'wah. So you start with the passive one, as I said, working on yourself, working on your knowledge, and then limit yourself. I am going to specialize in presenting the women's issues in Islam. That's good. So basically, you will be a specialist in what? Women's issue in Islam, or women from Islamic perspective, or go more specific, women's rights in Islam. Or you go even more specific, women's role in family, or go more specific, a wife's duties in Islam. You know, you can be more specific. And then get trained in that. Make this your track, and you gain knowledge and experience, knowledge and experience, knowledge and experience. So whenever we have a function that is talking about feminism or women in Islam, you are the specialist. Go. You may not be able to talk about the Trinity or about Islam or about monotheism or polytheism. You will not be able to talk about this at all. But you are very good, excellent, better than me in talking about that. So you're the one. Would this be better, or someone jumping in the ocean without knowing how to swim is better? To pick a small topic that the whole thing will revolve around 10, 15 pages. Is this better and more effective? Or just going there blind and anybody can ask you a question that you do not know the answer, or they do not see a match between what you preach and what you do? Actually, being more specific is much better. You see? So I respect the people who hand the Quran and leave. I said, this is my job. That's it. I said, thank you so much. I respect you. My hat down. I see some sisters go in campuses and they said, oh, I am a Muslim, I'm a hijabi. Let me show you how to do your hijab. I like that. Well, I love it, because they know their own limits. Or someone go and say, let me speak from my experience of 30 years, how to be a Muslim wife. But go study that, because maybe some of your practices are not Islamic. Some of your husband's practices are not Islamic. Some of both of your practices is culture. So you have to study that first, and then go speak about your experience as a mom, or as a wife, or as a daughter, or as a mother-in-law, and be specific. So knowledge and experience. Very important, knowledge and experience. So you have to be aware of your foundation first. Avoid talking with atheists and people of innovations, like, if Shia or anything like that. Work on social things and all of that. When you get to one of those two, like someone who says, I'm a Muslim, but they are a completely different sect. They feel they are the closest to Allah. And you feel that you are the closest to Allah. So basically, you're not going to be able to convince them, because you're convincing them by leaving what they believe is getting them closer to Allah. And they want to convince you by leaving what you think is getting you, what you believe is getting you closer to Allah. So basically, it's a futile conversation. It's not going to go anywhere. If someone is looking for truth, that's another story. That's easy to work with. Atheist believes there is no God. And you believe beyond that, there is a God who created, who made a constitution, who gave revelation, who chose prophets, who have the law and prohibited and this and that, and there is a day of judgment. Well, an atheist believes there's no God. So why are you going to debate the women's right in Islam with an atheist? What's the point? What's the point to prove that Quraan is a holy book? They don't believe there is someone who sent the holy book to start with. So an atheist comes and says, please do not discuss any detail of Islam with me. You want to discuss? We talk about the concept of God. Is there a God or not? That is your limitation with me. Mr. Atheist, talk to me only about one thing. Is there a God or not? We talk about that. And we're not going to move from there. I'm not discussing any details with you about my religion unless we move from this part first. That's why when I talk to a Jew or a Christian, we talk beyond that one. There is a God, there is a God, there is a God. But we differ on how that God look like. Who is that God? We differ. So we talk about that part. We talk about the details because we both believe there is God. We both believe that he sent the revelation. We both believe there is a concept of prophets. We both believe there is a day of judgment. We differ in details. So basically, you can discuss lots of things here, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But we believe in lots of foundations. God, we all believe there is a God. We have difference in the details of God. We believe prophets. We have different who and who's not, and who's the final and who's not. There are divine books. Yes, we all have divine books, but we also have issues with that. Day of judgment, yeah, we all believe there is a day of judgment. What's going to happen there, we differ in that. So we believe in all the concepts. So we can discuss the details. We believe that there is a man and a woman. We discuss the details. We believe there is a foundation of marriage, an institution of marriage. We discuss. But someone who said, there is no religion because there is no God. Why am I going to discuss prayer? Why am I going to discuss hijab? Why? Why am I going to discuss Surah Al-Baqarah with you? Oh, Quran says this, or Sahih Bukhari says this. What is that? You know? In da'wah also, you have to have the foundation of how to use and utilize the knowledge. What if someone comes to you and say, isn't there an ayah of Quran saying that? Isn't there a hadith in Sahih Bukhari saying that? And I said, then what? He said, what do you mean? I said, then what? Isn't that ayah telling you such and such? I said, how do you understand that? This ayah is written in Arabic and this hadith is written in Arabic, right? And I'm assuming that the translation is perfect. And translation told you, but this translation is what the translator understood, right? Who tells you that this understanding is right? You see, that is basics of da'wah. So basically, you trust me as a scholar now or not? Yes, I trust you as a scholar. I said, that's not what it means. And this meaning has to be understood in the context. What is the context? There is 10 other ayahs talking about this ayah. And there is 5 ayahs before it and 5 ayahs after it. You have to understand it within the context. Ah, yeah, exactly, sir. Exactly, sir. Any divine book, by the way, you want to do that. It's not only Muslims. You bring an ayah from the Bible or the Old Testament, they say, oh, you misunderstood it. How? Because you took it out of context. What is the context? Such and such and such. How do I know that? Because I am the scholar, not you. I am the Muslim scholar, it's not you. You see that? It's very important. So that's why I'm saying giving da'wah is not reading from a piece of paper. It's not going on Google and printing out. That's not how it works. No. You come to me, I'm not saying I'm the guy above everything. No, you come to me because I'm your teacher here. You come to me and I tell you the advice. If I don't have the advice, I go to my mentor. I also have a mentor. I do. I have a mentor who's way older, more experienced, more knowledgeable. And I ask him about things. Don't think I'm just like, I'm above all the knowledge now. No, that's not true. So that is what it is. What is the benefits of da'wah, or what is the main goals of da'wah? There are two main goals. Who can tell me the two main goals of da'wah? The two main goals of da'wah. And the two main duties of anybody who's giving da'wah. There are two. One for Muslims and one for non-Muslims. Who can tell me? Go ahead, Mr. Siti.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam.
The first is to preserve our deen.
Yes.
And second is is for non-Muslim, is to invite them to our religion.
Perfect. Remember those two all the time. Any action you do as a Muslim, as a da'i, you work on yourself. Yeah, that's fine. We all do that. But if you want to benefit others and benefit yourself by benefiting others, you want to be rewarded for benefiting others, become impactful, become effective, become helping. Are those two goals. I preserve the deen and its followers, help the followers of the deen to practice their deen correctly, and then invite others for it. And I said, and then you do not go to number two unless number one is satisfied. So you find your house and your circle, they're not practicing Islam well. This should be your focus. Forget about the non-Muslims now. This should be your focus. Put your mask first, then help others. Remember, in the airport, in the airplane, in the case of lack of oxygen, a mask will drop. Put your mask first, then help others. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you believe, qu anfusakum, save yourselves and then your families from the fire of hell. Then you go to beyond. You go to beyond and you have a crack inside. So what is the point here? You could not maintain your own, and you go out and give da'wah. Work on your own first. This is much better. This is much better. All right? So this is the important things. How to prepare for da'wah? You have to prepare your mind. You have to work on your intention. So you have to have goal. Have a goal. Maximum goal is to please Allah. Is to die when Allah is pleased with you. Is to go to Jannah. Yeah, that's our maximum goal. How am I going to achieve that? Some people choose to work on themselves and worship. Some people go do the da'wah. I'm going to print the Quraan. I'm going to make tafsir of the Quraan. I'm going to give lectures like that. And I'm going to go invite. Yes, but you have to be clear about your intent and about your goal in your head. And you have to practice what you teach. Right? So, Quraan and Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those are your main resources. But it's not a joke. Always go back to those who know the subject better than anyone around you. Like you want to go to a specialist. When you want to go to a doctor, you want to go to a specialist. You don't want to go to anyone. People don't go to specialists because they cannot afford it or there's a long line. But if everybody has the means to go to a specialist, they are not going to go to anybody under that. They will not be satisfied with someone who's a beginner. You always want the best. That's why I said, oh, I learned from the best. What does that mean? When you say I learned from the best, what does that mean? It means I'm trustworthy. It means I have it from the top notch. Why Ivy League is Ivy League? Because they tell you this is the crème de la crème, or this is the cream of the crop, or this is the best. You know? So this is why. Because they established that. So that's exactly why you're supposed to do the same thing. You want to understand the Quran? You don't go and say, I understood it that way. Who are you? Oh, I just used my mind. Well, why did Allah send Prophet Muhammad? Why Allah made Sahaba for the Prophet Muhammad? Why Allah made the Tabi'een for the Sahaba? Why Allah made somebody become a scholar? Why Allah said, Al-ulama, those who truly fear Allah are the scholars. Are you identifying yourself as a scholar? No. Then who's the scholar? That's the scholar. He fears Allah more than you. He knows more than you. So you go ask him. You can become a scholar, yeah. You can become better than him, of course, but you have to follow the path. All right? Don't let your ego kick in and think, oh, I can also understand the Quran. No, you can't. You cannot. Allah did not send the text for everybody to interpret it the way they like. No. So there are standards. For those standards, try to understand according to the criteria. You apply them, you gain experience. You start having your own vision, which is framed within right and wrong. Then yeah, you can interpret things then, because you're not going to go out of the path. We can use all the means that Allah gave us. There's nothing wrong in using technology, using social media, applying those theories that we studied in education and in psychology and in sociology and anthropology, and you learned and you do that and you bring them, and you will find their origin in Islam. Yes, they are put on different structures. It's great. It's wonderful. This is a great chance, opportunity for us to use those things to serve our deen. Because our deen telling us to use all the right, lawful, justified, legitimate means to serve the deen of Allah. It's halal, it's good, alhamdulillah. Why not? I use a car to go to some other places. I use the internet to talk to you now while I'm thousands of miles away. What's better than that? Why not? Okay? You have to show Islam through your actions and your civic involvement. Your actions on yourself and civic involvement, people see you beneficial in other things, not necessarily ritualistic. It's part of our religion to participate in the elections. It's part of our religion to enhance and improve the community around us, Muslim or not Muslims. It is part of our religion to observe the traffic law. It is part of our religion to respect the law of the land. It is part of our religion to do 1, 2, 3, 4. All these things that makes us good citizens, it's part of our religion. So we look at it religiously, not necessarily everybody else. So that is taken care of. But I am saying how people observe you doing it. They are not seeing this as a religious act. Me and you seeing it as a religious act. When you drive your car and abide by the law, that's a religious act. But people are seeing you like a good citizen because they separated religion from the state. We don't. We do not separate religion from our life. Even if the religion is separated from our state, but the religion is not separated from our life. Why I'm helping an older person put their groceries in their car? Because I am asking Allah to be pleased with me. How the other person seeing you as a good citizen, as a good human being. Wonderful. Work on that. So when I'm saying you get engaged in civic duties, I'm not taking you away from your religion because you're already a Muslim, you're supposed to do that. But I'm talking about how people observe it. So this is a means of da'wah for me because it's part of my religion. Everything good I do in this life is religious. Now you understand the bigger meaning of da'wah, right? Everything you do in this life, which is good, is religious. Everything bad in this life you are avoiding, that's religious also. You're avoiding it religiously, the bad things. And the good things, you are doing it also religiously. Smiling, you're giving someone advice, you're helping someone, opening the door for someone, cleaning the road, picking up trash from somewhere, somebody's path. That's religious. Okay? So that's why we say, even if it is not in the Quran or the Hadith, that go vote in election. But Islam telling us to support each other and support other humans in doing everything good, beneficial to humanity, and support each other in avoiding everything that is harmful for humanity. So now our scholars telling us this will benefit humans and will benefit Muslims living in America to go vote. Even the result of the voting is not going to be directly Islamic or un-Islamic, but the lesser of the two evil. Even you assume that, even it's in our estimation, it may work, still a good, valid reason to vote. You see? So we are doing it religiously, but everybody's seeing you as a good citizen. Great, that's a good da'wah. Let me be a good citizen. That's how you observe me. When I do these things, I'm a good citizen. Yeah, my intention is I'm a good Muslim. But you seeing me as a good citizen, I'll be a good citizen. So it's a da'wah, right? So when you go there and engage in civic duties, you're a good Muslim, but they are seeing you as a good citizen. Wonderful. You are doing da'wah now because they identify you as a Muslim. You're wearing hijab, you're going to the masjid, your name, your ethnicity, your color. Oh, he's a Muslim doing exactly that, doing it better than anybody else. Actually, they are better than the majority of the population of the United States. Great. You see? So you are giving actually a good name by being engaged. Work on yourself and get involved in the civic actions and the social activities. Now we have verses in the Quran telling us the stage of da'wah. Nobody is better than the one who is inviting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Surah Fussilat, chapter 41, verse 33. Surah Al-Imran, chapter 3, verse 104. And it is telling us how to be, how the stage of da'wah and how to give effective da'wah. You have to have a very strong aqidah, faith. You have to have a correct, authentic knowledge that you can attribute to its resources, to its sources. And your actions have to match what you believe in and what you invite to. And you enjoy good and forbid bad. And you have to invite others to the path of Allah Azza wa Jal, whether Muslims or not Muslims. And our job is to invite people only, not to make sure that they are following what you're inviting to, that you're missing the point. Your job is to deliver. Even Allah told the Prophet that your job is to deliver. Remember, we divide. Green, everybody can talk about. Those are issues that you can, at ease, saying, oh, that's, as Muslims, we believe Allah is one. Very simple. You may not know the details of that, but Allah is one. Well, Allah sent many prophets. 25 of them mentioned in the Quran. Yeah, great, green. Talk about that. We believe that Quran is the holy book. Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet. Okay, that's it. You don't have to talk the details. Yellow, issues that would need some research, need some preparation, need some work. The details of Salah, why women stay behind the men in the Salah, why women have to cover their head, why this, why that. Those are yellow. You need to know before you talk. You have to know your limitations. So you need knowledge for that. Then you have orange. Now you need actually scholarship to talk about this. Scholarship means in-depth knowledge. What is that? The interpretation of a certain verse in Quran. What about the ayat of jihad? What about the verses that say kill or do this or do that? Well, that's hard. Now you go to red. Not only scholarship, you need specialty. You need someone who's specialized in that. You have scholars who specialize in financial transactions. You have scholars who specialize in family issues. You have scholars who specialize in theology, in the codex of the Quran, in the history of collection of Quran. All those are issues not anybody can talk about. Not even somebody with preparation, not even somebody with scholarship. No, you need somebody even further than that, higher than that, and in depth more than anybody else. So talking about terrorism, talking about these issues, about slavery in Islam, about all of these things, the big issues. You need that. Somebody specialized. Even if you have the information, don't jump into it. And people respect you, actually. When you know yourself, you say, you know what? Every answer is there in Islam, but I know my limitations, and everybody as a Muslim should know their limitations. So I am here. This is my specialty. Ask me about that. Now I can go to a place, and many like me, and many better than me. I can go to any church and say, ask away. Any question comes to your mind, go ahead. Why? Because over 25 years, I'm collecting and categorizing those questions. It is about 60 to 70 questions that every single question comes from a non-Muslim revolves around. And those are continuously edited and improved and enhanced whenever something new comes. Cloning issue came, we have to, edit. This same-sex marriages and homosexuality came, we have to edit. Now this transgender issue, we have to edit. You know, all business transactions change, you have to edit. So basically you are in continuous improvement of your own act. Anybody have questions? About da'wah challenges?
Yes.
Go ahead.
First of all, brilliant lecture, Sheikh. I am just floored. I wish we could have a khutbah in the masjid exactly dealing about what you have spoken right now. As you know, there are several times you and I don't agree. This is Afshan Jalani, by the way. But we have respect. We have respect, we have honor, and we solve things. I think that the thing we really need to understand is that we have to move on in a manner that is respectful and a part of our faith. And we have discussed this in your previous lecture on how would the Prophet ﷺ deal with these issues. There cannot be enough said about the differences between dawah and interfaith. I would not dare to do dawah. I do not have the ability. I do not profess to be an expert in anything. Interfaith, yes, and I'm still learning. I've been doing it so many years, but I still learn. And I represent myself as a mom, a sister, a wife, a human being. So the difference between representing Islam and representing myself as a human being is that I have faults, even though I am Muslim. And of course, I have to work on them, but I cannot do dawah when I am at fault. So I would really appreciate if you would spread that idea in the masjid, because we are very confused in how we represent our interfaith issues versus dawah issues. It is not one and the same, but several times it has been professed to be the same and is promoted in the same way. Second item, where do we draw the line between representing ourselves as Muslims and having non-Muslim people visit the mosque, yet we stipulate that non-Muslim women may not have voter registration tables in the men's entrance area? Okay. So it's fortunate that I was there, but it was a very delicate situation when I had invited the voter registration people. When it came, they said we were told not to set up tables where the men are exiting from the women. It was very embarrassing, and I had to talk to the gentleman and, put my foot down. I'm sorry, that's the way I am, but it was not appropriate, and it was not something that represented us as good citizens. Yes, there was a table at the women's entrance, but there was one also at the men's entrance, and the request was that at the men's entrance there should be a man doing it, not a woman. So I would like your clarification on that.
Right.
Yeah, and the other thing is when you talked about talking to, let's say, this is a delicate situation. Let me think about it. I'll let someone else talk.
Okay, let me answer your first question. It's simple. It was actually a comment that you have. It is very important to distinguish between da'wah and the interfaith. Interfaith is part of da'wah, but not every da'wah is interfaith. Not every interfaith is da'wah, right? Sometimes there is interfaith activity that is social. It's completely social. We are from different faiths, but we are having some sports event. We have some social event. People coming to have iftar with us. We are going there in Thanksgiving to represent the importance of thanks. This is not a religious thing, but it's an interfaith. Means between faiths, we are doing different things. And I'm encouraging that. I'm behind that. I am the first proponent of that. Let's do it, right? Because that's what we actually should do. And no two scholars will differ about this, right?
Agreed.
But the problem is when we mix that. So you nailed it on the head, but you're right. I myself would, inshallah, do that and have a series of khutbahs about this. And that's what I need from you. I need from my students, from my proteges. I'm the mentor and you're the proteges. I need from them to give me that feedback so I can guide more. I can tell you more what to do and what not to do. Okay, so this is very important, and that's one of the main projects. I told you I'm project oriented, and the next phase, inshallah, of my life, you are going to see those projects being suggested and initiatives taking, especially in Masjid al-Salam, inshallah. And without you, I cannot do it. So let's continue on that, and inshallah, clarify. We'll tell everybody how to be a good person in da'wah. Even your da'wah is here. You can be 10% in da'wah, but 80% in interfaith. And when you are in interfaith, don't think that you are going to be only religious issues. No, you can do other activities as well. So that's number one. Number two, I want you, Sister Afshan, to distinguish between two things. What is right and what is wrong is one way to look at things. What is proper and improper is another deal, right? So proper or improper have different criteria. The criteria is based on time, means in the 21st century is different from the 14th century, different from the first century of Hijrah. Based on culture, what happens in a culture doesn't happen in other. Based on relationship, between husband and wife, in public or not in public, or between people who are not married, people in the medical field, this and that. So your position, time, the culture, your position toward the relationship with others, and also place. Look, inside the masjid is different from outside the masjid. Being in Houston, different from being in Cairo, different being in Islamabad, right? So it's different things. Being in a jungle in Africa or in a village in Peshawar, all these factors would be different. Now, Islam telling us we have to keep all in this mind under something called siyasa shar'iyya. Siyasa shar'iyya means there is no direct text, Quraan or Sunnah, saying yeah or nay, right? So now is going to be what is more beneficial and what is more harmful, right? So now, I'm just giving you a hypothetical question. If I have a masjid, forget about Masjid Salam now, a masjid in a town that all the people are non-literate, means they did not go to school. I have 100 people come pray, but they did not go to school. They are farmers. And all the religion has come through tradition and culture. And now I come and talk to them in a khutbah about equality between man and woman. What's going to be the feedback? The reaction of these people. I'm not talking who's right and who's wrong. Right? In my mind, if I don't believe that this is a good subject, I wouldn't give it in the khutbah, right? In the first place, if I don't believe that men and women are equal, I would not give about equality between men and women, right? And I'm talking in general, I'm not talking about specifics. But I'm talking in general, in front of Allah, man and woman, you say la ilaha illallah, say la ilaha illallah, we're equal. You pray, I pray, we're equal. Equal in all our duties and all that, we're equal in front of Allah. And I talk to people about men and women like that. Those are farmers, right? Remember that. And the unliterate. Even though the subject I'm talking about is right, they might actually kill me. When I go, are you telling me that my wife is like, oh my God. Now, how long I would take to make them understand? I have to go from Adam. I have to go change their mindset that they built over 60 or 70 or 80 years in the khutbah? No. So I take you from that village to Masjid Salam. Okay? Now, who are the patrons of Masjid Salam? Sister Afshan, Sheikh Mamdouh, and many others who are not necessarily a copy of me or a copy of you. No, you have all the spectrum here. And here is the kicker for you. Most of the people who come do not believe in what you think is right. I'm just telling you the plain, truth without any sugarcoating. Most of the people who come to Masjid Salam do not think. So basically, most of the people in Masjid Salam specifically do not believe most, do not believe that actually they're supposed to vote, let alone having a table, let alone having a woman on the table. You see how many stages are you removed from reality here? So you are removed from reality. You are looking at one point that it has 5, 6 steps before it to be achieved to get to what you have in your head. And you think it is reality. No, it's not. I am telling you because I'm the imam here. I am the one who knows what these people speak. I know how many people actually came to me because of that table you're talking about. And those are people who have educational degrees, people who have master degrees, and people who are professionals. But they said, yeah, this is okay in the hospital I work on. This is okay outside, but I don't want to see it in the masjid, Sheikh. Why? Just because. So now, how long it should take me to convince that person? And if not, I'm working on his son. And that's what I tell people. I tell them, I am working on this generation to raise a generation who will produce a generation that will do what I'm thinking it should be done. 3 generations forward. That's how I'm thinking. That's strategic planning. I am raising a generation. I'm mentoring a generation now who are in their 20s and 30s to produce a generation that are removed from all those biases. And that second generation is going to provide the generation that will lead this ummah. So it's not about the table now. I'm not thinking about that. I'm not belittling your work, by the way. I'm just telling you that how long it is. That's the difference between da'wah and interfaith. See, you are focusing on that small aspect of having a table. No, I would say, okay, no table at all. But let's work on, you know how long it took me until I justified how to have our masjid as a voting poll? It took years. You know how long it took me to convince people that a Christian or a Jewish woman can enter the masjid without observing the hijab? You can't imagine how long it took me to convince the people that when the people come for a tour, they can enter the masjid, men and women. Oh, what about if that woman is not clean? What about if that woman is in her period? What about blah, 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 this and that. And what all of these things we have to discuss and we have to tackle for years. So don't think it's just like you brought a table and people find it a reality. They feel challenged. Why you are forcing this on us? Where is the Sheikh? What is wrong with you, Sheikh? Where is the Islam? Blah, 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 blah. All of this comes. Calm down, calm down, calm down. So if we coordinate, and that's my solution to you, think about it as a chain. You know? Chain. You wear. Necklace. Right? Okay, let me ask you. Most of the necklaces, what is the main piece of the necklace? Any sister can answer me.
The center, I suppose.
Okay.
Pendant.
But can you put that center without everything else?
No, you need
Exactly.
the lock
You
in the
need-
back.
Aha. You see, that lock in the back is the understanding, right?
Right.
That is what you need everybody to have. And me and you are those chains. And that centerpiece is our representation as Muslims. So I want all my community to do their part, intentionally or unintentionally, knowingly or unknowingly, to have the centerpiece. But you are thinking about the centerpiece without all of that. I want Sister Afshan, okay, you are doing certain da'wah. Sister City doing a role, and I am at the masjid. And I reached the level now telling the people, I am the religious authority in this masjid. Okay? You want to discuss a decision that made in the masjid, please come talk to me. Now, what I'm expecting from anybody who wants to do an activity, at least give me the courtesy. Before you do the act, tell me what you intended. The youth, for that bonfire, to do the bonfire, 6 months. I swear, 6 months until I convinced the masjid to have it. Fireworks, 6 months, I mean a year, until I convinced the people to do fireworks at the masjid. Can you imagine that? what I'm trying to say here, what you saw is normal. Why? Because you are taking people from this side to completely the opposite side, but they need preparation for that. So I hope I answered you practically, but this is lots of work, wallahi. I swear to God, there's lots of work for all of us to work. And let's think about this. This is what I want to establish. We are there to complete each other, not to compete with each other, right? You know your own limitation. I know my own limitation. All the sisters know their own limitation. So let's see how each one of us become a building block in that centerpiece at the end. And instead of saying, oh, Sheikh Mamdouh is extreme in this and I'm in this. No, as you said, we have differences, but let's not make our relationship defined by our differences. Let it be defined by the 90% that we agree on. You see, once we do that, wallah, I swear, inshallah Rabbil Alameen, we are going to move forward. We're going to move forward. I deal with all types of people. People they assume things about me that non-existent. I deal with people who have issues, who commit major sins, but I know that they are beneficial in certain things. It doesn't mean that I am endorsing what wrong they do. It doesn't mean that. But I know my Islam really well. I know that everyone in their heart, there is deen of Allah, there is some benefit you can get out of them. Why not? I'm not involving or endorsing the wrong that they do, which I think is wrong. Sometimes maybe I only think it is wrong, but it's not. Maybe I'm a little bit cautious, maybe a little bit strong in one point, but there are other scholars who say it's all right. So that's fine. I'm not gonna push on that one. I'm saying, even if someone disobeying Allah, I knew certain people who drink alcohol. Can you imagine? I knew in Houston somebody who owns a club, a night club. Can you imagine that? And nobody knew that. I didn't know that. I did not know that until the man came himself and confessed and cried. I said, I have that. What should I do? You know, if this person come and they want to sponsor iftar in the masjid. You have other businesses, good. So what should I do now? Go announce in the masjid that this iftar is sponsored by the guy who owns the club? I'm not going to do that. I'm not talking about our masjid, but I'm talking in my life. I went in a masjid that there was a guy like that. Alhamdulillah, Allah helped him and made tawbah after he got cancer and got all that. Allah helped him. He made tawbah and he did all of that. But I did not expose him. You understand me? I did not expose him. But many people were ready to do that. There were many people ready to do that. And many people knew later and they said, oh, that's why he got the cancer. Oh, Allah is punishing him. Maybe Allah is reminding him. Maybe Allah wants to admit him to Jannah. That's why he cleaned him before he goes. You see? So that's the approach is everything. So da'wah, by the way, it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine. The path of da'wah is a gold mine. That's why many of you said, oh, tabligh jama'ah. These people do this. I said, tabligh jama'ah is the best thing that you can have. Why? Because they go from town to town inviting people to come to the masjid. Then it is my job. Alhamdulillah, people bring me customers. Why should I be mad? You know, I'm not going to focus on the things that they disagree with me. No, I'm going to focus on that. I'll welcome them to come. That's why people come. Tabligh jama'ah come from all over the world. They come to Masjid Salam and they want to come to Masjid Salam. They want to make it a point. I meant Masjid Salam is a landmark in Houston for Tabligh jama'ah. You know, that is how I benefit from people. I benefit from everybody who disagrees with me before those who agree with me. So let's have that, inshallah. Any other question?
Can I ask my second? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go complete.
Okay. Your perspective on talking to atheists and people. Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. People within Islam with different sects. Can you please clarify what is the? Now, those are both two different things. I'm sorry, but it's okay. Let's talk about first within our faith. What is the best way to say? I don't do this, but you're welcome to do that. What is the best?
Okay.
Thank you.
There is so it's either you say it or you don't say it, right? Right?
Right.
There's
Right.
two
Right.
different things. When you
Correct.
say you are welcome to do your thing,
Yeah.
right? Or you are free to do your thing.
Free to do this. Yeah.
Because you are welcome to do that means I agree with that. And you cannot
No,
agree
you're
with
right.
something opposite to yours, right? Because now you
Absolutely.
are,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Thank
So
you for the correction.
I respect you believing in different than my belief, right? And you're free to practice it. I'm not going to be against you.
Got it.
But I don't believe, I believe something else, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I appreciate doing that. The biggest problem that I see, by the way, I have lots of people that I know they are Shia, for example, right? So I'm speaking here freely, and I'm speaking here with convenience. I'm not speaking here with pressure or anything, right? I want to understand it in that context. So I know this is going to be public. It's going to be on my YouTube channel, right? So it's not something that I'm hiding or something I am, trying to draw a picture that is not true. No, I'm telling you the truth. The problem that I see with many of the Sunnah, that they become apologetic while the other side is not. And the other side wants to promote their practice, want to make it a point to do their practice with us, right? But when we are in an event, we are shy to promote or advocate or practice our practice. You know what I mean? And that's what hurts me. That's what makes me unhappy. It makes me unhappy when a Shia brother or sister comes and want to make it a point to pray on that thing that they pray on, right? In our masjid.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
when I go to his masjid, he hands it to me. Why I do not have the courage to tell him, you came and prayed in my masjid with that, then I will come pray in your masjid without it, or you pray on yours and I don't pray on it, either places. Understand me? So if you want me to pray on your masjid, so you don't pray on it in mine, okay? Or I pray like I pray, whether I'm in my masjid or yours, right? And you pray like you pray in my masjid or yours. Let's have an agreement here. You know what I mean? But I cannot accommodate people, and I become very apologetic within my own religion, just to appear I'm normal. You know, that's the mistake that many people do in da'wah. Why you have to compromise your belief and your practice for the convenience of someone else, while they make it a point not to compromise theirs. And that is the issue. And that's why I am saying I'm not going to engage in a belief talk with someone who's another sect. You have your sect, I have mine, right? You're free to practice yours, and please make me free to practice mine. Okay? Now, if we're not going to discuss who's right and who's wrong, and I don't want to, let's work on our community. You are a Shia Imam in Hillcroft or in Voss or whatever it is, and I'm a Sunni Imam in ISGH. Let's work how to save our families from the high divorce rate. You see what I'm talking about? Let us work together on how to save our youth from drugs. Let's work together on how to prepare our youth for marriage. Let's work together on how to boost the math and science level and the SAT scores among our high school students. I'm ready to work with you on that. And that is what we need to do. But that's a problem. You know, everybody wants to discuss on that issue here. No, I'm not going to waste my time discussing that, because we have a lot to work on. I have a lot to work on with the non-Muslims. I have to work on with those who, an atheist. Oh no, you are my teacher. You're teaching me math. Wonderful. But you are not going to tell me there is no God and expect me to sit quiet. No, I'm going to defend it. And we have to do that. But you cannot touch my Islam. You know, I'm not going to engage in discussions with you about the details of Islam. Well, you don't believe it is a religion to start with. I'm wasting my time. You have to believe there is a concept of religion. You have to believe there is a concept of God. If you don't believe in that, let's work on math, science, social, building houses, helping the poor, the needy, you know, relief work. That's okay. Even if you're an atheist, I'll work with you. I hope I'm clear, right?
Yes, Sheikh, absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you. But again, what is the best way to say that in two
But the best
sentences?
way, I just told you.
Yeah.
See, Sister Afshan, sometimes the
I'm
best
not-
way is you are not Sister Afshan, right? You're Sister Maryam.
No, I'm Afshan.
You're Afshan, okay. So the best way is the honest way. The easy, simple way. Just say the truth. Just say the truth. My belief is opposite to yours, right? So let's work on what we agree on and avoid what we disagree on. Just as simple as that. I have a friend who is a pastor in a big church in Texas. And we go hunt together. Hunting, deer hunting. We go hunting together and spend a few days traveling and eating and joking and all of that. But we agreed. We removed the elephant from the room from the beginning, right? I said, I believe Allah is one. You believe Jesus is Allah. Jesus is God. It's not. We disagree on that. You believe God is three. I believe God is one. You believe Jesus is the Son of God. I believe that Isa alayhi salam is the prophet and the messengers. I respect Jesus. I believe in God and you believe in God. You respect Jesus, but you revere him to the level of God. I don't. So are we going to make our relationship based on that, or are we going to move forward? We both agreed moving forward. So when I go, he invited me to his church. He says, Imam Mamdouh is here, but he's not here to convert me or anybody else. He's here to answer your questions, And that's it. And they come to iftar in our masjid. They enjoy it. Steve Besner, is my friend. And whenever anything, he send me Eid Mubarak. I send him greetings and we're good. You see, Sister Afshan, because, we already removed the elephant in the room.
Exactly.
It takes one time only to say what we disagree on is such and such. Are we going to make our relationship defined by this, or are we going to move forward?
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I don't have any issues with that. That's how I think it's my MO as well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sasha. Anybody else?
I saw Sister Seema wanted to say something. Sister Seema, I want to go ahead now.
Yeah, okay,
Please.
thank you. Sheikh, this is referring to an incident. I mean, when we had the Ramadan interfaith, right, event, while I was standing in line and I had a conversation with one of them was a non-Muslim gentleman there. And when he was standing in line, he was saying, there was the ladies, of course, section, and a lot of ladies were talking and all that. So he says, it would have been better if they were allowed if our ladies were allowed to mingle into the ladies section, and we would have gotten more getting to know each other. So he sort of commented on that, and there was not really that much of a time to really discuss more on that. So I had some ideas, but I was wondering how to address a situation like that.
Okay. I'm not going to address what happened and reminisce on this. I'm going to take what happened as a foundation to what we should do next, right? That's number one. Number two, we have to have a da'wah team. Now, if you go to any corporate and the people who meet in the executive level, they have a certain way of discussing things. Then when the manager is talking with different teams, and each team talking with and each team leader is talking with their team, until the worker who are on the production line. You understand the concept, right? So there are conversations to have on the basic level. There are conversations you have to have on the higher level, because some of the conversation on that higher level might scare the worker down there, and he feel unstable, and then the whole production will be a mess. You understand what I'm saying here, right? Same thing in the hospital. When the people take the person to the emergency, the way the nurses handle it, from the way the ER doctor handles it, from the surgeon who's going to do the surgery, there are different conversations on each level as well. There are different information sharing strategy here. That is the thing that we lack. Everything we do is open to everybody. And that is the mushkil. The mushkil is when every member in the community has a say in everything in the community. Are you with me, sisters, here? Because what I'm talking here is very sensitive. When every member in the community has a say in everything in the community. It doesn't work like that.
Mm.
It doesn't, because many things people will not understand it. The Prophet himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he wanted to build the Kaaba, rebuild the Kaaba the way Ibrahim alayhi salam did it. The Kaaba currently now is not the way that Ibrahim alayhi salam built it. You know that arch in the Kaaba was all the way up. So the Kaaba is not a cubical building. It is a cubicle from one side and an oval from another. You understand? Can you imagine that? So the Kaaba is 3-side cubicle with an oval thing, a tip, like the nose of an aeroplane. All right? And then the Kaaba had 2 doors. One which is the existing door, and the one is after Hajar al-Aswad. So there is a door and another door like this. So there's the existing door here, and there is a door like this. So a door and a door, and Hajar al-Aswad is in the middle. So people do their tawaf, and when they finish the tawaf, they enter from this door, pray 2 rak'ah inside the Kaaba, and exit from their door. You see, Prophet wanted to do that. And that existing door was down level to the ground. See how many changes? 3. He make the Kaaba all the way up in its original shape, and make 2 doors and make them down to the ground. Why the Prophet didn't do that? Because he said majority of the people now are new Muslims that after Mecca, and the way they will understand it, they will say, once he ruled Arabia, the first change, he destroyed the holiest of holiest. It will stick in their head because they are new Muslims. So something that major, and the Prophet did not do it. And the whole Ummah until the day of judgment will not fix it. It will stay like this. Can you imagine that? Now you open everything to the community. Everybody has an opinion. Why this and why that? And you find the administration, they are like going back and forth. Partition, no partition. What if the Muslim sister said, why my wife will sit with another man, and that man is not Muslim, and they are sitting like this, and they're sitting like that. 100,000 opinions will come. So the solution is make a partition. Do I agree with partition? Not necessarily, but I'm just telling you the process here. So my advice is either that we have a separate venue for these kind of events with a visitation to the masjid, and then we have a venue different, whether it's either the community hall, but only by invitees only. So the people there know what they're doing. So now all the logistics will be based on benefit and harm, you know? So if all of us here, we know that the benefit of everybody is sitting respectfully on the table and this and that. And I can say, you know what, sisters, a husband and wife can sit actually with another husband and wife, or with a table that has males and females, but you have to be husband and wife. So listen, but it is okay. You know what I mean? We can come up with solutions. But when it is open like this, someone comes and, you know those brothers? They come and look like this and this, Allahu Akbar, what's next? We're going to have a dancing party in the masjid? I swear to God, this is what people tell me in the masjid. I'm telling you, like I finished Salat al-Isha, alhamdulillah, I have khushu' and everything. So, Sheikh, what is next? We're going to have a dancing party here? Next thing we know, you are allowing music? It's hurtful. You know, it is hurtful. So I'm telling you, like, what we face, a community like that. So what I'm saying is, their etiquettes of da'wah are very important, sisters. Wallahi, very important. This is the tip of the iceberg. I want to get rid of the bottom of the iceberg. All of these things in the bottom. You know, the iceberg is that little, and it is huge under there. You are scratching the surface only. Of it would have been better the sisters come here. I know it would have been better. I know, you know, when I go to interfaith things outside the masjid, it is more comfortable, more convenient. I agree with you. It's not like something like I don't. But how can we, and I'm not saying I'm a hypocrite here. I'm not saying that either. A'udhu billah. I am saying that there are things to be said for the general public. There are things to be said for students of knowledge, like who are studying Islam to be a da'i. And there are also conversations and certain things to be presented to academics, someone who's doing a PhD in Quranic tafsir. Those are things that if I talk about in front of people, some people can leave Islam actually. When I talk to them about certain details, they'll misunderstand it, they'll get confused. Islam's like that. No, I don't want that religion, you know? I'm not going to talk about that in front of these people. There are things like this. So what I'm trying to say here is we have to educate our brothers and sisters who are giving da'wah. You have to have patience with the majority of the community because they are not on that level yet. And majority of them, they are not going to be on that level. Trust me. So the safest thing is to have a certain packaging of this da'wah. And you have to have tolerance. You have to understand there will be someone who's disagreeing with you and how to handle that. That's da'wah also. Like when somebody comes like that, you make them understand. Let me explain to you. Let me do this. This is a step in a 100-step project. This is, they do not know Islam. We have to accommodate them. It does not mean we're compromising our religion. And alhamdulillah, our sisters are decent. Our sisters are good. And she's with her husband. And we do not let them sit, okay, the sister alone. She can sit with the seniors. No problem. You know, I can justify and explain things while I'm making sure also it is right. I hope you understand what I'm saying here, you know? So things do not happen like that. Things happen so stay with me, and we, inshallah, we're going to do a good da'wah project in our masjid, inshallah.
Inshallah. Sheikh, I just want to make it very clear. I had nothing to do with the Ramadan Iftar this year. I haven't been involved in Masjid Salam da'wah programs, so-called interfaith programs, for the past 8 or 9 years.
Oh, okay. No, I understand. But what I'm trying to say is, like, always there is somebody who will object. You know, the da'wah program at Masjid Salam came a long way, by the way, from like, 10 years ago, from 5 years ago, from last year, before COVID and after COVID, we came a long way. We have, the way now, alhamdulillah, is managed to recruit seniors, brothers, sisters, students, and youth. When you have representation of all segments of society, it becomes very successful. So that's how you prepare people. And I don't want to take it out. Everything I do, Masjid Salam, I tell IGH, I'm modeling it for you so you can model it everywhere else. So we can have this as a citywide project. Okay? So inshallah, hope we can discuss this, inshallah, when I come back at the end of this month. And inshallah, Rabbil Alamin, it is on my agenda. The da'wah project is on my, inshallah.
Sheikh, just a little question.
Sure.
First, I was also wondering that what would have been an appropriate reply to the gentleman at this situation. That's, I didn't discuss with him that much.
Sisters, about the sisters?
Yeah, about him saying that it would have been nice if you had if the ladies were allowed to go inside and mingle with them and all that, they would have gained much more knowledge, whatever. I do agree with you that there needs to be some separation or something. But I mean, how should I have addressed him with the reply? Yeah.
You should have addressed him exactly like you say. Very good suggestion. Presented to the masjid. And the Imam of the masjid can guide us from the religious aspect. And we keep that in mind.
Okay, sounds good.
Always the diplomatic answer is the best quick answer you have. Because now I can give you a very intricate, complicated response, but it is not always there when you are there, You could not respond because you did not think about it. But the most spontaneous answer, you say, actually, it is a good point. Why don't you talk about that? Don't say you are right. Don't say you're wrong. Because they might be right. They might be wrong. You might think they are right, but they're wrong. You might think they are right, but they're wrong. You might think that they're wrong, but they're right. So all possibilities are there. That's why you could not give a solid answer, because you cut off guard, right? And you don't know. So why the best reply in this situation said, that is a good observation. And actually it is a suggestion that is worth thinking about. And I think that should be represented to Masjid administration and the religious leadership, right?
Yeah.
Which I will make sure that I do, inshallah, for you.
Okay.
Sister Seema, if I may, I'm sorry, I don't understand the gentleman's question. The women were allowed to go to the women's section.
I know, I did. Yeah, I did say a little bit like, oh, they're allowed to go inside, they're allowed to go inside, but it was a long thing. So I didn't want to get into much of a discussion, but I did say that, I mean, they can go in if they wish, like something like that, but I didn't want to go into the detail of that.
But I know why the question was asked, right? It was not a question, it was a suggestion, right?
Yes.
But his suggestion, he was very polite.
Yeah.
What he's trying to say is, why do you have a partition there?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That was
That's what he
his
was
comment.
basically saying. Yeah. That, I mean, why you have them separately and the ladies would have done it.
Right.
Yeah.
He
That's,
said
you know,
he
like
is trying
this.
to
I
say,
understood that.
remove the partition, let
Yeah.
the sisters open. That will
Yeah.
give them more courage to all of them to join. He has
I understood. that. So I just sort of give him a general. Yeah, they can go in, you know, and
I
just.
understand.
Yeah.
I believe me, I heard it all. I saw it all. I understand the agenda behind the question.
Yeah.
You know, I know myself. I'm going to tell you right now, openly and clearly in front of everyone. Women behind the partition in the masjid, less perceptive, less focusing, less retaining of the knowledge, and more on the isolation side.
Mm.
I'm telling you that, and I want anybody to challenge what I'm saying.
I so appreciate that, Sheikh, because, you know, when your father would do the Fajr program at Masjid Bilal, that's where I started learning everything from him. And we did it together. We all sat together and learned at the discussion after Fajr. It was so informative.
Yes, and I used to do that in Masjid al-Ansar in Woodlands, right? They have
Right.
sliding door, right?
Right, exactly.
Right. And I told them, whenever I am giving a lecture, please open the sliding door.
Yeah.
And any sister wants to move in front of the sliding door, that's fine too.
Subhanallah. God bless you.
I did that for 3 years over there, ask people over there. But
Yeah.
Masjid's setup is completely different. And that's why I say now to all the brothers in my lectures, all the sisters are welcome to come to the men's musalla. I say that literally. The sisters know that. Come to the men's musalla. And I tell all the men, please move toward my left, which is the right of the masjid, and let the sisters sit here. Some of the sisters want to sit in the back section, and some sisters actually sit in the front section.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Yes.
no. I say that. Jum'ah is because of the crowd. I'm telling you.
Right.
But I accommodate. Sometimes I give the lecture upstairs in the sisters, long musalla. So the brothers and sisters, I do know that sisters are more focusing, more perceptive, more interactive when they are part of the deal. I'm not talking here about mixing. I'm not saying every brother have one sister beside you. I'm not saying.
Of course not.
I'm not saying husband and wife, please sit together and put your hands on the shoulders. I'm not saying that. I am saying that please allow the sisters to be part of this halqa. Why 2-3 sisters have to sit behind the partition there? They don't see me, I don't see them. They think that they are irrelevant.
Yes, Sheikh, lot of the lectures that we've been having at the Masjid al-Salam, the ladies have come to the men's section and they are sitting on that side, in front and everything.
Yes, and I encourage them to do that.
Yeah.
I do. And I take lots of heat on that, but people who quit already saying anything about it. If you don't like it, don't attend the lecture. So basically, it's just like that,
I mean, the women who want to sit separate, that's fine too. There's no argument.
Exactly. Give them the option. I'm just giving them the option. Every lecture I give sisters, please, if you want to come forward, please come forward. Brothers, please pray your sunnah on that side of the masjid. Whenever there is somebody talking about election or whenever we have a program, sisters can tell whoever does not come that we have the musalla for both. We put chairs in the back to attend for both. We have women who came lectured us before. So alhamdulillah, I am doing my best day and night to take this masjid and put it somewhere on the map of this modern life without compromising our tradition.
Subhanallah. May Allah bless you.
That's what I want to do. And I need your help. And I need your sabr. And I need your tolerance. And I need your encouragement. And I need your participation, And I need your wisdom. And I need your understanding. When you are in the front, things will not happen instantly. When you are in the front line, you have to work for decades to come. Not days and months, decades to come. That's what our Prophet taught us. You see, this is the fruit that our Prophet did not see. But there are millions of people who are Muslims now, millions of people who are Hafiz of the Qur'an now. Prophet did not see that with his eyes. He didn't.
I think the lectures that we just did about dawah is just literally the first step of everything that's going to come, inshallah. I mean, when I came in to the lectures, I didn't think of it as this is going to be intended da'wah, like I'm going to join a da'wah group and I'm going to start learning how to do it. For me, it was more like every day is da'wah for me. I'm married to a revert, so his family, you know, is constantly asking us questions, of course. So, you know, the 7 years that I've been with them, subhanAllah, it didn't take effect. But I saw my young children when they speak to their grandparents, subhanAllah, because of their innocence, the grandparents are more receptive to their answers.
Right.
So I feel like the more basic, the more intentional the kids are, we just have to learn from them. And which is what, like, I homeschool my children. I'm not worried about them, you know, meeting so many non-Muslims, but they will, we're still in America. They're still going to interact with non-Muslims throughout their life. So I've like intended to have dawah as part of their curriculum. We're going to, you know, do.
Yes, and your children, because they are going to be the ones giving da'wah. You see, not
Yes.
necessarily you are the one giving da'wah. No,
Exactly.
raise them to be able to give da'wah.
Yeah, and it is so important for their identity. They will never be apologetic about Islam because they know one
Thank
of their,
you.
know, yeah,
And
one
they
of
are
their,
the bridge. Your children is a blessing from Allah. They are a blessing from Allah. A revert husband, a born Muslim mom, you know, a revert father, together, we are the result of this. And then we have the best of both sides. We have grandparents from both sides. And I love my grandparents from both sides. So they both look at those children as a model, you know, because they are the grandparent. They are the grandparent. This is my grandchildren, you know, and both sides will learn from them. Trust me. That's why I tell everybody, your children is your gold mine.
yes,
Whatever you want that you're not able to, invest it in your children and give them the freedom to choose and let them take their path, because they're not apologetic. They understand things as is. So when they grow up, this is something that they are convinced with. So inshallah, may Allah bless them. May Allah bless you for having a revert husband. I love that. You know, my older sister is a wife of a revert husband. They have 6 beautiful children. MashaAllah, you can see them now. You know, they have both sides. And my brother, also youngest brother, his wife is a revert. Last year, alhamdulillah, she reverted after like 1 year of their marriage. And they are beautiful. They are in our family, and I see the blessing. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you, inshallah, the best, role model for them, inshallah.
inshallah. Thank you, Sheikh.
I have to ask your permission to go, okay?
Yes.
And I enjoyed this halqa, and I hope that you did as well. And inshallah, Rabbil Alameen, please, I advise each and every one of you to listen to all 4 lectures. Please come up with feedback. Shoot it Sisters Maryam Mubin, right? So she can collaborate all of them, send it my way, and then, you know, I kind of edit it, and it becomes like the class notes of, Da'wah mentorship program, Sisters Da'wah mentorship program, September of 22. Can we do that, inshallah?
Inshallah.
And it becomes a project for the community, but please put your own feedback. Say everything, no restriction here, no judgment. Inshallah, just write whatever you want, write your suggestions, get all the points together and just put them together and have a class notes, inshallah. And I will put my comment and I'll present it with your name, inshallah, to the community.
Jazakallah khair.